Konnichiwa, we're here again from our rooftop and we want to give you a little update. The goal of this is we're going to have a very brief update because we want to spend the rest of our time doing a little Q&A. We asked some questions online, asked you to ask some questions online, and we want to take some time to answer some of those questions. But to kind of talk about over the last month and a half, it's been pretty crazy. The kids just finished their first trimester of school and are on summer break, which is a 5-week time off. During that time, we did a quick trip up to Tokyo. We got pretty sick. I actually came down with pneumonia and I was out for some time, and I've just been going at language school. Amy's going to tell us about one cool thing that's happened over this break that we want to share with you.
So we have a friend from Guam who is actually Ellie's teacher. She has been teaching in Tokyo for the last year, and she moved down to Osaka to join us, and so we've been so thankful to spend some time with our friend Eden, and she's already been a blessing to us, and we hope that we can be a blessing to her.
Now it's time for questions from around the world.
Questions from around the world.
What is the food like at school?
Hey everyone, we're standing right outside Selah, Hannah, and Carson's school. At my school, my personal favorite lunch is bread and jam. What's your guys' favorite school lunch?
My favorite is bread and jam also. My favorite meal is rice and karaage chicken. Karaage chicken is basically fried chicken. My favorite is rice and bread.
What is recess like at school?
Well, for my school, we don't really have a recess, but every class we have a 10-minute break to use the bathroom and walk around. But after lunch, we have a 20-minute break where our students are allowed to go outside and play volleyball.
For me, Selah, and Carson's school, we have 10-minute breaks in between subjects, and then depending on the day, each kid will either go to the gym or go outside.
How have you adjusted to traveling primarily by metro?
We've definitely adapted to traveling by train. It's actually kind of relaxing to step on the train and relax until we get off on our next stop. Using Google Maps, we're able to easily navigate to find where we need to go.
We're at Fukushima Station, which is actually our local station, and God put us in an awesome spot because only one spot away is Osaka Station, which I believe is the 4th largest station in the entire world. From there we can get anywhere we want and has some of our family's favorite spots at.
Are you on Team Lawson or Family Mart?
We're on Team 7-Eleven.
Convenience stores, or konbinis as the Japanese call them, are found all over Japan. They offer a wide variety of snacks and pre-prepared food. You can also pay your health insurance bill, water bill, or almost any bill that you get. One of our favorite snacks are these smoothies. You buy the cup of fruit, after paying for it, insert it into this machine, and it blends it up to make a delicious smoothie. This is one of our favorite snacks and our children's favorite snacks.
How does the cost of living compare to Guam and the continental United States?
Our finances are pretty comparable to that of the United States for cities. Coming from Guam, we find things a lot cheaper, but we do have to watch continually the yen to dollar rate. Recently, the dollar weakened about 10% to the yen just about a month ago, which means kind of our finances dropped about 10%. Now, with that said, we've had a safety net and we're doing totally okay with that, but that's one thing we constantly have to watch. Amy's going to share a little bit about her world when it comes to the finances.
Here we are at a grocery store, and the prices at the grocery store are much less when compared to our life on Guam. However, they're probably about the same as to what it is in the United States right now.
Bread is sold in half loaves, but comparatively it would be about $2.50 for a full loaf. A bottle of Coke like the one seen here would only be about 55 cents.
What is the biggest culture shock you endured when you moved to Japan?
This has probably been our biggest question that's been asked, and that's what is the biggest culture shocks? Amy and I have talked about this, and we really believe that our time on Guam kind of made us hypersensitive to different cultures. That doesn't mean that we're ready for everything from a different culture, but the things really haven't rocked us too much. For me, one of the hardest things to get adjusted to in Japan is how professional every aspect of life is. So what this means is whenever you go out, you're dressed up. People very rarely wear shorts here or dress down. Everyone's usually in a button-up shirt with nice khakis. Even seeing blue jeans is pretty rare. So I always feel like I have to be looking sharp and acting professional in every aspect of life.
For me, what's been the most difficult thing is actually getting food into the house. And what I mean is this: since we use a train and not have a car, or a bike, all the groceries that we buy have to fit on my bike and I ride them home. So instead of going to the grocery store with my big car and loading it up with groceries for 1 or 2 weeks, you can usually fit enough groceries on my bike for a few days, and then I have to go back again, which is kind of tiring. It is kind of fun to ride my bike all around, but I feel like I sometimes bring home groceries and the kids eat it up within 1 day and then I have to go back again. So I feel like that's been kind of the most tiring or maybe the most difficult adjustment to make.
What is something a church or individual can do to be an encouragement?
I don't want to say this just broadly. I know this is kind of the token answer, but now being here and having so little Christianity and really feeling that you are in a war zone spiritually everywhere you turn, we are so dependent on people praying. We're doing a work that unless God does it, we labor in vain. We really need Him to go before us, and we ask you to pray faithfully that God would open up doors of utterance for the gospel, and that God would supernaturally allow us to be able to take in this language so that we can effectively communicate His word.
For me, definitely, I just love hearing from people. It is a bit lonely at times here. We are making friends and getting to know our community. However, just hearing on Facebook Messenger or email or something just to say hi or how are you doing or we're thinking of you is just a big encouragement.
How are the churches different in Japan versus America?
One thing that's amazing is that there's more things in common about the church than that's uncommon. I believe that churches are unique in how God enables them to further on the gospel into this world. But the church across the globe is uniquely the same in many ways. We see this in Japan, just like we saw it in Guam, and just like we saw it in the States. There's a spirit of unity, there's a spirit of helpfulness and care and love, and we see the gospel going forth all over. Now, one thing that is a little bit unique here is that we've seen in churches, many churches actually meet later on in the day. We've seen churches that meet around 1 p.m. or past that because of just how Japan kind of is orchestrated. A lot of people get going later on in the day. They go out on weekends and things like that, so the timings are a little bit different. But other than that, the church is the church, and it's a beautiful thing.
When you are not at school, what types of things do you like to do for fun?
One of the things we love to do for fun is explore Osaka Umeda. There's a bunch of awesome places here.
Around Osaka Umeda, you can find pretty much anything you're looking for. Our family will often come down to this area to go into the wade pools for the kids to relax, and also they have plenty of activities that pop out of nowhere. One of our favorite things is the food here. You can find any type of food. This here is one of the best donut places that we've ever seen in our life. One of the really neat things about this area is there's a couple of stores that people come to from all around the world. One of those is the Nintendo store. There's not many of these in the world, and we have one of the biggest ones about 6 or 7 minutes away. Our kids love coming here and seeing all the creatures from the games they played growing up and just seeing what's new. It's a fun and lively place that we can go to at any time if we want to get away. Right across from the Nintendo store is a Pokemon Center. We get asked all the time about Pokemon centers, and our kids love having one only a couple minutes down the road.
What is your favorite Pokemon?
Eevee.
Garantina. Cubone. Wooper. Questions from around the world.
Well, we hope this update has been helpful to you. Before we go, we want to ask you to continue to pray for our future partners, Kyle and Natalie Klein. We're hoping to have them here before the end of the year if the Lord would allow for that. But we also want to introduce a new member to the team we haven't really told you about. Eliane's going to bring her up. We haven't shared this with anyone, but we want to introduce to you Momo. Momo means peach in Japanese, and she's been a blessing. When we left Guam, we had to say goodbye to our dog Yuki, and we know for our kids, they really want a dog for a long time, and we went back and forth. One interesting fact is there's actually more pets than kids or babies in Japan. So all around we see people with dogs. It's a great conversation starter and relationship builder. So we want to introduce Momo, and we look forward to more updates with Momo and the rest of our family. Have a great day, and we'll see you next time.